Hi, this is Ed Rising, and welcome back to Ed's Pop O Matic Podcast, a retro pop culture podcast where everything beats anew when you keep it in your heart. Tonight, we're going to talk about the new Superman movie, and I have two exciting guests. We have Daniel Coston and Tom Hunyadi, both regulars. So, Dan, Tom, how are you?
Wonderful.
Very
Thank you.
great.
All right.
Very good. Good to see you again, Ed. Yeah.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you guys. And we may have another guest or two pop in during the course of the show. As everybody knows, the new Superman movie has been released, starring David Corensay. Am I pronouncing that correct? Is that the right way to
Corn
say
sweat.
that?
Corn sweat.
Corensay?
Corn sweat. Corn sweat.
Cornsway. Okay. Cornsway. Okay. Anyway, I saw the movie over the weekend, and I thought it was an exciting movie to watch. I had a great time in the theater watching it. Um, I kind of enjoyed these kind of films more so when there's a bit more story, emphasis on story, as opposed to the um, the special effects, which seem to dominate this movie. But I'm not really a DC or Marvel superhero guy in general. So that's just because I'm kind of out of it as far as that goes. So I want to guess your impressions on seeing the movie, the Superman franchise, and Tom, you want to take it from there?
Well, I am a DC fan. I've been a DC fan since the Super Friends days. I started collecting comic books in the mid '80s, and I collected Action Comics. Started collecting Superman when John Byrne took over Superman there in the mid '80s after Crisis on Infinity Earths, and excuse me. And I loved his run mainly because I'm a big fan of John Burns, but I love that run. So I've really been looking forward to all iterations of Superman because one thing that people really don't understand is that yeah, it's another reboot of Superman here in the movies, but people don't really understand that there's been already been 100 reboots of Superman in comic books. Uh,
Right,
you know,
right.
it's one thing that people seem to forget. But anyways, that being said, I'm able to go in the theater and I'm able to look at this on its own merit and review this objectively because I'm interested in all kinds of reboots when it comes to my favorite superheroes. And Superman is no expectation, or I'm sorry, no what's the word I was looking for? No exception. So going in, I was really excited, and I believe in James Gunn. I was really happy when James Gunn said that he was going to be the new co-boss of the new DC studios over at Warner Brothers.
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of his Guardians of the Galaxy films, and I'm like, this man gets it. This guy understands what it is to do a comic book movie, and I'm happy to say that this is the most comic book movie I have ever seen. And I'm a big fan of past Superman movies. And I like other Superman movies better than this one, by the way. But this one was very exciting, like you said, and I was very happy with this. And the special features. You know what? My opinion, you need special features. You need CGI to do comic book type of stuff. Yeah, it was cool what they were able to do with Christopher Reeve and make him fly. And you believe a man can fly and all that stuff. But pounding a person's head in concrete, you got to have some kind of CGI. I think, you know. So for that reason, I like it. And then you talk about story. Well, this is like the first movie it's not the very first thing in the whole new DCU, but this is like the first movie. I mean, it all really begins here. So story wise, I wasn't really expecting much because I knew this was going to be a continuity. Okay.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and the other thing that I was really happy about is that he started this as an already established universe. I'm so tired of origin story movies. So
Uh,
that was one of the things that I was really excited about was coming into a universe that's already established. That
And
was
I get that
so
too. I get that too. I like the fact that they did it 3 years after he's been working in the
right,
Daily Planet, has a
right,
relationship with Lois Lane, and all of that, and all these other issues that he's been able. Already, he is the man. He's the one that's taking
right,
care of the world,
right,
and now he's got these issues where he's being surpassed by this villain. So
Right.
I get that, and I think, but I think they just could have led up to that a little bit more
Fair.
before they just banged his head, like you
Right.
said. Right?
And I
Also,
get
he
that.
being pummeled
Right.
immediately, you know.
And I get that, and I can see them like in future movies doing like Flash or Flash or prequel kind of stuff. Show everybody some of the backstory, if you will. Okay, like we didn't get a lot of Mom Pa Kent, right? So
No,
I can kind
just
of
enough.
I can see them in movies doing a little, it's the little cameo of them and showing Superman, and in a crisis as a child, and them instilling their values into a young Clark Kent, So and maybe that can be something that they do in stories, because I really like how they presented the Superman as well as a young Superman who has feelings. I love that
Yeah,
speech he
I
gives at
thought
the
the
end.
emotional aspect of the
Right,
film
right.
was right on.
Right. And I thought what I really liked is like he's learning how to be a human being first before he learns how to be a superhero. If that
And
makes
isn't that
sense.
a huge part of his personality that
Right.
I'm a visitor to this
Yeah.
planet, and I have to, like,
But
just like with they just like, well, I guess it isn't like with Spock, because Spock was
right.
half human and he resented that part of his life. So forget that
Right.
altogether. Uh, but yeah, he was experiencing his
Right.
humanity. Daniel, what was your impression of the movie? Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen it yet. I work too much, and I am not. I really don't get to go to movies. But your point about um, Superman coming into like his early life informs his humanity. That's almost a reverse to where he discovered humanity and his love of humanity through the first Superman movie, and particularly the second movie when he's literally
Right.
saving the world. So that's an
Yeah.
interesting twist. Is like he comes in with a love of humanity and a willingness to care for the
Right.
humans, whereas he developed that through the original one and two. That's an interesting
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
So I think it's an interesting time for Superman to come back. Obviously, these things are never going to stay away for too long. And
No.
Superman, it's like it's like one of the biggest names in comic book history. Um, and we all need superheroes. We all need something
Yeah.
to believe in or follow a story again. And I'm glad that there's a generation now that will get into this Superman again the way that we got into Superman 1 and 2.
Yeah.
All the reboots through the years, that became somebody's version of Superman, and that's cool.
Right.
So I'm anxious to see how obviously it seems to be doing well, and I'm be curious to see the
It's
next year too.
yesterday.
Mhm.
Yesterday, sorry to interrupt, but it made $17 million on a Tuesday.
Wow.
That's wow. Well, that's Superman.
There's going to be a three and a four and a God knows how many after that.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, yeah. I mean, there's still countries that still haven't shown it yet. So I assume that the international market will come in future weeks. But domestically, I don't think this is going to have a problem getting people into the theater.
Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me ask you, Daniel, as far
Mhm.
as the original Adventures of Superman TV show, were you a fan of that when you were a
I saw. I
young
was a little.
person?
I was sort of the in between. I'm born in '72, so I only saw the
Right.
original Superman in reruns. I actually saw more because there was a serialized version of it in film. Some reason, so I lived near Syracuse, New York, and WSTM would run. Stooges and Abbott and Costello and all the things that they could get their hands on, and they ran Superman more the serialized version through the WSTM club than they did the TV show. I did see that later. I did meet Lois Lane from the TV series. I met her years later
Right, right,
here in
right.
Charlotte. Yeah, still have pictures of that.
Yeah, she
Um,
was, in fact, I think she was in one of the Christopher Reeve films.
mhm.
She made a cameo.
Yeah, which I
Yeah,
thought was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But so I was after so I was 5 years old when Star Wars hit, and that's the perfect age to
I
discover
was
Star
yeah, I
Wars. At
was
least for
four.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Oh
you
my
remember
gosh.
that? Do you remember it, Tom?
But Superman? Well,
The
I get
original one.
yeah, like Daniel. I mean, I caught some reruns, but I always thought the Super Friends a lot better than the TV show. I thought the TV show was kind of bland. Didn't think
Mhm.
much of it. Wasn't very exciting because he's not doing anything really. I mean, he's not
No,
doing anything exciting. They got a really didn't they
he
have like a
breaks
really
through a
bad
wall. That's pretty much
picture
about
of
it.
him trying to fly, or something like that. It's just, but yeah, I was more Super Friends than I was The Adventures of Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when I was a kid, I watched Adventures of Superman, and while it's much tamer than any of the other iterations of the Superman franchise, I sort of appreciated the relationships between Clark Kent, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Perry White. And there was a certain humor involved with that became even greater when they did the Christopher Reeve movies. And then that became more of a romantic. I mean, I guess in the DC movies, Lois Lane and Superman were together in the Superman movies, comic strips, comic
After
books.
a point, I mean, after a point, yeah, they
Mhm.
were. It took some time, but Superman also, had other love interests as well in comic books. It just wasn't, Lois Lane.
Well, he had whatchamacallit, the
Lana,
girlfriend in Smallville, right?
yeah, Lana,
Lana, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, Played incredibly by, wasn't Annette Bening. It was who played it in the movie?
Yeah, I don't remember who that was. Oh, was that Mariel Hemingway,
Maybe.
or or was it? Well, because I'm thinking, what am I thinking of? Superman 3, where it was a different love interest, and
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna
it
have to
wasn't
look. I'll have to look that up.
Lois Lane. But
Yeah.
I mean, I find 3 and 4 of the original Superman films with Christopher Reeve to be a complete bore,
Mhm.
and silly. Really, I mean, you talk about special features. I mean, those special features in Superman 3 are just, I think some of the worst special features, especially once you get to the kind of like the machine taking over. The one actress, I'm forgetting her name right now, but and Superman, being bad, there at the end there too was kind of
Richard Pryor kind of
silly.
saves that movie, even though probably the worst
Well,
movie in his career.
well, yeah. Some people may have said that he ruined it too, but
Mhm.
I guess it's the eye of the beholder. So
Yeah, it's sort of strange to see Superman turn into a Hope and Crosby movie with with Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor, but that's what
right,
happened. So
yeah,
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 yeah. That was is one of the shame of. I mean, I love to, and all of its kind of
yeah.
fun weirdness. But it's like we can do humor now. Let's go completely the humor route. And it's like in doing that, they kind of lost the plot of those
Right.
sequels.
I think you're right. I mean, you can have. I don't mind humor. I like humor. I mean,
Mhm.
humor is good. I mean, the Betty character was kind of almost like the comedy relief.
Yeah.
Um, but then once that's your main focus, kind of like Schwarzenegger with his one-liners all throughout the 80s and 90s. I mean, it's just like then you're starting to get, I think, a little silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was Annette O'Toole that played Lana in
Yeah.
Superman
Okay.
3. That's who it
Right.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey,
okay.
Daniel.
going back to your Super Friends one, I watched that too, and you're right.
Yeah.
It was like if you saw the cartoon series and then saw the movies or the TV series, it was kind of like,
Right.
oh yeah, it's just not the same. But it's
Right.
different points in time. It's sort of like
But
watching Flash
Yeah,
Gordon.
because an animation, obviously you can show more of his power in animation than you could as technology was getting better in cinematic
Mhm.
history, right? I mean, in animation you can show him. I mean, punching the big, 100 pound, 1,000 pound stone coming at him, and he can punch it, and then it breaks. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna throw a big styrofoam rock at George Reeves, and make that believable,
no, no.
I
And the fact
somewhat
is that in fact he was just so old when he got the part in the first place.
Was he?
Like
I
he
didn't
was
know
in
that.
he
Yeah.
was he was like in his late 30s.
Oh, that's old, huh?
I mean, I'm not old to play Superman
I
when
know.
it's Superman. You know what I mean? I mean, it wasn't.
Right.
That's why it's a different feel also because
Okay.
he's a man. And at that point, he might have even been older, I think.
Right.
But anyway, I wanted to talk about Super Friends, uh, which also translates to the League of Justice.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
in the
Hall
League
of
of Justice,
Justice.
one of the things that was interesting and fun and different about this movie was that you bring in all these so-called other superhumans, which was kind of cool to see the Green Hornet
Green
and
Lantern. Green
and,
Lantern.
and what's that?
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, right?
Mhm.
Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Anyway, Green Lantern. I'll get it
Hawk
right.
Girl. Yeah. No.
And various Hawk Girl and so forth. I'd never heard of some of these people. Mister Terrific, I never heard of
Yeah,
him.
Mr. Terrific is an old school character that got reintroduced in some years. He is more
Yeah,
popular today than he had been in the past.
and I thought they were trying to inject humor into creating the crypto dog character, and
Oh,
I was like,
that's the
it's
family
actually these are the
aspect.
movies, the
Yeah,
comic strips, right?
yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one of the things I love about this film is because it meshes the Silver Age with the modern age um,
Mhm.
of comics. I mean, you've got crypto, right? I mean, you've got the super robots that are at the Fortress of
Right.
Solitude, like
Yes.
that were in the comics, and then you got a modern suit, right? So and you got modern technology, and then you got these new characters, like you said. In the mid '80s, like I said, I was a DC guy, huge Justice League fan. They reintroduced that back in I want to say '87, '88, and Guy Gardner was the Green Lantern in that
Yeah.
comic, and it was more of a comedic comic, and that was one of the things that I loved about it. Here's you got an asshole, arrogant Green Lantern that has nothing that is far removed from Hal Jordan as you can get, and he's great. And then in a way that's kind of because you want to see him get his ass kicked, you want to see him help, right? But you also kind of way you want to see him get his comeuppance too because he's just arrogant, right? So
A couple of things about him getting so kicked and so forth, and
right,
he really in this new movie, which was very very good, but there were certain parallels to it that I remember best really from the Christopher Reeve movies. I've
mm,
seen Men of Steel. I've seen another Superman Returns, but
right,
they're in the back end of things. I don't really remember them as well. The Christopher Reeve movies I remember very very well because they were shown over and over and over again. So anyway, what they did in this one here is they uh I lost my train of thought. Yes, okay.
well,
So again, he gets beaten down quite a bit in this film. So there are
right,
moments when he gets hit with the kryptonite and
right,
he's rendered unable to do anything.
right.
And he gets out of that because, and I don't want to tell too much about the movie to anybody that has not seen it yet.
Like
But
Daniel,
there
you
is
don't want to
somebody
spoil it for
there.
Daniel.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
There is someone that is when he's in the prison that
Right,
he manages to coax to help him to get out of that, which kind of
right,
parallels the scene in the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve when he's in the pool in the lower subway of Metropolis
right,
with Lex Luthor's zany girlfriend,
right.
and he manages to get out. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
That
Metamorpho, the Element Man,
Mhm.
was introduced. I think back in the Silver Age of Justice League of America. He was
yeah,
actually invited to join the Justice League of America at one point, and he's a good character. I mean, listen, he's there to control Superman. I think he's part of Lex Luthor's plan is, I mean, he wants to get rid of Superman, all right, like just like Lex Luthor's of past. Uh,
right,
but he's already got this so welled out plan, even controlling Ultraman and the way he fights because he studied Superman for the last 3 years. He kind of like almost knows every move he's going to make, right? So
right,
he knows
right.
he's Kryptonite, right? He knows his fighting style. So here he is. He's got this all planned out. Once he gets him into that cage with Metamorpho, yeah, and then but then there's more to the story where Metamorpho has a little backstory too, and so he needs kind of like Superman's help just as much as Superman needs Metamorpho's help.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and again, have not being familiar with those characters, I was taking
Right.
it as
Yeah.
I was seeing it, so I wasn't even sure if that was um when we're seeing was it Meta Man,
Metamorpho, the Element Man.
Metamorpho the Elephant Man, attack
Element.
Elements Man, Elephant
Yeah,
Man, Element Man, whatever. The guy that was killing Superman in the beginning of the movie.
right,
I
right.
thought that was a robot that
Yeah,
was all totally controlled
right.
by Lex Luthor.
Right.
That
And but yes, there is someone. And I'm not going to. I don't want to spoil it for Daniel. I don't want to say
Yeah.
what he is, but there is a person inside there, and he still is being controlled by Lex Luthor.
so it's like Mr. Met is being controlled by Lex Luthor.
Yeah, yeah,
Gotta get back to my terms. Okay.
That explains
but
everything this year. My gosh, it's like
but anyway, Daniel, I certainly hope you get out to see it.
mhm.
And do that. One of the things I wanted to bring up is the relationships with with Lex Luthor. Now, Lex Luthor. One of the things about the film that I thought could have been missing, but again, it's a different way of telling the story. In
right,
the original movies, or the Christopher Reeve movies, they gave Otis, Lex Luthor's
right,
right hand stooge, if you will,
right.
they gave him a tremendous comedy role to play. It was Jackie Cooper that played that part.
Yeah,
And in the new movie, the only person that really has any real dialogue with Lex Luthor is the woman that has all those extra
yeah.
powers or whatever she can do. And she's trying to get into the Fortress of Solitude and
The
so forth.
engineer.
The other guy is just there to, okay,
Well,
he's on stuns or whatever,
yes, but it's more than him just being there. I mean, okay, he's a clone of Superman. I mean, that's how he's able to. That's how they're able to get into the Fortress of Solitude, is because it's all about the DNA
Yes.
of Superman. So it's not necessarily the engineer. That's why Lex Luthor called her back once she found the Fortress of Solitude, because he knew that she wasn't going to be able to get in there. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then again, but to your point though, I mean, all these characters, that's again one of the reasons why I really love the show, because I've always been a big fan of all of these characters,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate the way he interweaves, all of their appearances and conversations and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I mean, I really enjoyed the film too, and I really recommend it out to everybody to go out and see it, support the new Superman. And I thought that David
Yep.
Cornsweet, right, did a great job.
Yeah.
I
I
thought that
think.
he was a really good Superman. I thought Rachel
Yep.
Brazahan, who was Mrs. Maisel in the
Yes.
Mrs.
Correct.
Maisel series,
Yeah.
she was good.
I think
I
she's the
enjoyed them.
perfect cast. I think she was the perfect Lois Lane. She's cast perfectly, and the chemistry. At first, there it's when you see them, you think, okay, the relationship's a little rocky, but their chemistry works, and by the end of the movie, it's all good.
And you realize that it's 3 years into that relationship,
Right.
and so it's going to
Well, it's
be
three years of them knowing each other, or maybe,
yeah,
But the thing is the 3 years was was from the time he introduced himself as Superman. So he could have already been working at the Daily Planet for a while.
yeah.
So it was just when you see that tech, Daniel, when you see the movie, there's like a little text before, while the movie is starting, which is important to the story.
Wow.
I also
Interesting way
wanted to
of doing
bring
that.
out. Go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to do that. So basically, you're kind of setting up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
As a
It's
character,
kind of like
the
almost
actor that
like the way in
plays.
Star Wars. Sorry, but kind of almost like a way in Star Wars, right? You're
Mhm.
you're 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 telling the story, and you're going into something that's already in progress. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think
And
that has a very much Star Wars vibe to it in that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mhm. That
cool.
was the thing I always loved about that was when the Star Wars movies, you knew it was Star Wars. You heard the music, you
Right.
saw the scrolling text. It was like, yeah, now I'm here. So
Right.
you were set up and ready to go. So I think you need that. Now, I want to pose this to both of you guys. Obviously, it looks like Superman. This iteration will continue on. Are there other characters or series you'd like to see them continue in the Marvel universe, or is there some things that you feel like that have been neglected in these canons?
In the Marvel and the DC, which one?
Let's start with Marvel. Let's start with that.
Well, I'm only a casual Marvel fan. I only really had I only collected a couple of the comics here and there, but I am looking forward to seeing what they do, how they reintroduce the X-Men into the story now that they have the rights to them. But other than that, I thought it was a bad idea to stop doing Captain America, Iron Man movies. Just because those actors might not have wanted to portray them anymore, you still could have done the James Bond type thing, right, and get a new actor to, to take over those characters. So
Yeah.
now you're left with these secondary characters to carry the films, and they haven't been that as successful as the first three waves really of I'm to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of Fantastic Four either. So I might watch it. I don't know yet, but I am looking forward to the next two Avengers films and see how they carry those, and see if they start introducing the mutants into those movies.
But I think the James Bond idea is what's been done for the Batman series.
Yes,
We've seen
very much.
Batman movies
Yes,
over the
yes,
last 20, 30 some odd years, and every couple of years there's a different actor that takes over the role.
right.
And then maybe they write it, maybe like with Superman, they may approach the story differently or
See,
whatever. And
that's why you get a younger character. That's why the Amazon, who now owns the James Bond, now they're looking for someone they're looking for someone under 30 that can carry that mantle for the next maybe 10, 15 years.
interesting.
Mm-hmm. It is interesting now that more of these movies are thinking about these as franchises. Not just
Right.
okay, maybe we'll make a movie or we'll make another.
Right.
No, it is a series, and they've planned this out over 5, 10, up to 15
Right.
years.
And that's correct. So everybody's like saying, okay, well, this movie needs to make 700, to $1 billion to be a success, and no, it doesn't. It just needs to get people interested into seeing this universe. So this movie might not make $1 billion, but the next one might, and the next one, as long as they keep being good. Listen, those Marvel movies at the beginning didn't make $1 billion. They were making $300-400 million. As well. So it takes time for this to grow. All that matters is are these movies good, and are people going and people interested? That's really.
And then streaming services are going to pay to have the rights for them, so that's where they're going to make their money.
Well, that's the thing. Those HBO Max, they have Warner, they have DC, so they'll show the DC stuff. Disney Plus, they have the Marvel stuff. It's just all about the subscribers. Now, will people subscribe to them, or will they buy the physical media? Which is what I will do. I'll buy the physical media.
Yeah, definitely.
I would be interested to see, whether this director continues with Superman, and also who the next wave of directors for these kind of movies.
Right.
I mean, I was always still blown away that Sam Raimi made his name on the Spider-Man movies. Like
Spider-Man, right?
Little dead guy is now doing Spider-Man movies. Okay,
right.
But it worked. Made a ton of money.
I mean, they did tap James Mangold, who just did The Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan, to do a Swamp Thing movie. Now, whether or not that's going to come to fruition or not, that's still up in the air. But yeah, again, I mean, but is that director the right person to tell that particular story that they want to get out there?
Well, it's interesting about all these different directors that, one guy that's the actual, like this guy, James Gunn, for instance, that he's got a team of people that are on that movie, then he's going to have his second director maybe take on another movie and so forth. Like, it's like what we saw with the Disney Pixar with Cars franchise. And then they had John Lasseter do Cars, and then he did another movie or whatever. And then the guy that worked with Lasseter took on then the third Cars movie, or then he took on, or somebody else took on another product within that whole genre of film. And I think that's how a lot of this works nowadays.
Yeah, but in this case, it's a little different because James Gunn is the head of the studio. Okay, he's just not the auteur, if you will. I mean, he's a creative force. Okay, but maybe on Superman 2, maybe he just co-writes it and then gives it to give it to someone
exactly.
else, and then maybe then he goes and he directs Justice.
Because he's got other projects to do. Right. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I also
Cool.
think they're aware of not having a director that's like known but not too known. 'Cause,
Right,
like,
right.
for a couple of reasons. One, you don't want to, if that person isn't able to do that, then you go, oh, so and so is not directing. I don't want to see. But it's also they want to keep the franchise, and I hate
You
to say
want
it,
a team,
franchise.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want the team player, right? I mean, yes, it's you want somebody that's a visionary, but you also want somebody that's going to put forth the vision that the team already has in place.
Right.
You don't like really have like Orson Welles direct Superman. As much as I would have loved to have seen,
That
but
would
it's
be
like
phenomenal.
Orson Welles Superman.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think Orson Welles would be a great Batman director. Really.
Yeah, all that darkness,
All
the
darkness,
the
right?
the
Because he is a
minimalist
black
light.
and white. He's a black and white specialist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I would have. Yeah, I'd have rented that. I would have looked that one up on TCM.
Right.
Yep.
I'm definitely going to start looking up some more of these kind of types of movies to enjoy them. But so there, this has been really good. We're going to wrap up in just a couple of minutes. I wanted to just make another comment regarding the actor that plays Jimmy Olsen. Now, I've always loved the Jimmy Olsen character. He was always like the third banana or fourth banana in the movie,
The third
or
wheel.
or the TV series or whatever. Always kind of being put on or stepped on or whatever, or always need Superman to rescue him and so forth. Always getting into a fix. So in this particular movie, he's really more the guy that's actually turns things around and gets the information to help Superman that he really needs. And then he gets the girl at the end of the movie. I'm telling a big thing. I'm sorry, but I loved it.
I learned that in the comics he is a chick magnet. So this is actually kind of comic accurate in a way. So him, turning heads and having girls in the office, kind of waving at him and stuff like that, and then getting I'm not gonna trying to ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet, but for him to get the girl, in a way is kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm not giving that away either. He gets a girl. Let's put it that way. Okay, so anyway, look, been enjoying talking with you guys. Daniel, can you give us a little bit about what you got coming up, or?
Yeah, well, there's tons of things going on. Hopefully, next time we talk, I'll be able to tell you more about a couple producing projects I've been doing as of late. I'm happy to say that I'll be doing an exhibit of my photos here in Charlotte, North Carolina, late August into mid-September. We got Arts Plus, which is down here on Plaza Road, and it's going to cover all the music photography. A lot of folks you'll know, and a few you may not, but I'm looking forward to it. It's the first time I've done a show in Charlotte in some years. So it'll be that. We are doing Fab Fest again in October 3rd and 4th. If you haven't spent all your money on McCartney yet, please come hang with us. We'll have Greg Bissonette back with us this year, and Gary Astridge, who's Ringo's drum poobah. Yep. I'm
Very
looking
cool.
forward. And actually, I can tell you guys, since we're all friends here, we're going to be the first time that Gary and Greg will be doing something together. They actually have been pitching doing a program taking you through the history of Ringo as a drummer. So it'll be Gary and Greg taking, basically with you in the room, taking you through Ringo's drum playing.
Oh, that should be really interesting. A lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm
Very
really
cool.
excited about that. So come by, check that out. And as always, DanielCoston.com, at Daniel Coston Photos on Instagram. I will mention I have been to the place that inspired the Hall of Justice, which was the train station, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Right.
I have been there. So also there's a county commissioner here in Charlotte named Mark Durrell, and if I don't do a son of Durrell joke every week or two, it's just not my week. So that's always coming out of my mouth at least once or twice. So
that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
And Tom Hunyadi, what are you doing, sir?
Well, if people don't know, I am the co-host of a Paul McCartney podcast called Two Legs, a Paul McCartney Podcast, and myself and my buddy Andy Nichols, we try to put out a show every week discussing the life and the music of Paul McCartney. This week we'll have an episode about the frustration and the stress of buying tickets these days for a concert. And we'll have some friends on for that who also, experienced the same thing yesterday as we're all trying to get tickets for Paul McCartney. We'll both be at the Chicago Fest in less than a month, I think now, and we're going to have a panel. We're going to talk about the 20th anniversary of the album Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, and
Very cool.
there. And then obviously we're going to have so many things to talk about, and really looking forward to October and November when we get to these Paul McCartney concerts and shows.
Super. That's
Yep.
great. That's great, guys. So, look, thank you everybody for being on the show. Please visit Ed's Pop O Matic Podcast on YouTube, or Ed Rising on YouTube, and you can find our videos there. And doing all kinds of stuff, talking about all things from yesterday, and Beatles and McCartney and Osmonds and Partridge Family and God knows what, and sometimes Superman.
Don't say the one. Don't say the group that starts with an M. Don't say it. Don't say it.
The Marshmallows?
No.
Mosquitoes?
That's good.
All right. Anyway, take good care, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you very much for joining in. All right, I'm going to just close that out and stop recording.
Hey.